Welcome, everybody. Welcome to morning. Welcome. Me as I stretch some weights and logical. All right. Ask any questions or share a comment. There we go. Just welcoming everybody this morning so that they can. Hey, Joe. Just getting going. Monday morning. Woo-hoo! Remember, every morning that your eyes open up, everything after. First, we're going to get some morning stretching done. And then we're going to get some weights accomplished. And then we're going to go ahead and talk about weight loss. Normal, logical weight loss. Get this camera in position, make sure it's all ready. Turn it a little bit like this, I think. All right, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I think you can see me fairly well. And as far as being able to get some stretching done, you guys. Happy Monday, by the way. Welcome. Feel free to ask any questions you got. My objectives today are just to get my, what I do every Monday morning is I do my stretching, I get my weights accomplished, and whether I do it on my own or do it with you guys or do it with a client at the same time, it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to do it anyway. So if you're sitting down, stand up. Follow me as we get some stretching done. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up. I'm going to be hitting my coffee every now and then, so join in. And again, welcome. Happy Monday. We may play a little ice water in a few minutes. Let's see who joins us and if anybody has any questions first. I'll keep an eye out myself. Good morning. Come on, Joe. You want to get up and get some stretching done? Make your joints feel good? First, I'm going to go after the ceiling. Oh, I normally do about 10 of these. My objective is to get my joints and my muscles, tendons, and my cartilage and my ligaments nice, loose, so that when I decide I'm ready to go ahead and pick up the weights and start doing the weights, I'm not going to be putting any strain on muscles that haven't been warmed up, or putting strain on tendons, joints, ligaments, or ligatures that don't need to be strained without being warmed up first. So just like the Tin Man, the more you move, the Tin Man, he needed oil so he could move. For human beings, our oil comes from movement itself. The more you move your joints, the more you lubricate them, lubricating the glucosamine, chondroitin, those kinds of cartilage inside that kind of cushions joints. It can wear down over time, but the bottom line is the more you work these joints, especially if you take off weight and That's going to be today's big discussion a little while from now, is weight loss by the numbers. I guarantee you, when I was 110 pounds heavier than this, I was putting a whole lot more stress on my knees, my ankles, my hips, back. It wasn't good. Anyhow, we're going to continue to see who else can join us. Few folks that wanted to join us this morning, so we'll see who can make it. Toe touches, as far down as you can go. If you can't touch your toes, go as far as you possibly can without putting any pain on your lower back. Just go as far as is comfortable. Reach over head first and then down. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know, if you have any musical selections or song you want to hear, let me know. I love all music, so I'm a big classical music fan. Lordy, lordy. Sometimes you answer texts immediately, and sometimes you let them sit for a while. What is it, Joe? Put block party? Block party? Block party. Is that a group? Is that a song? Block party. Do I just request it from Alexa? Alexa, play Block Party. Let's see what happens.
Shuffling songs by Block Party.
There you go. Ta-da! Your request is my command. If there's a specific song by Block Party you want, let me know. It's a band, yeah. Alexa knew that. I didn't know that. Oh, sorry. Liking so far. A little too loud. Yeah, I turned it down a bit. I've got a blue snowball microphone. I do all my writing, talking to my computer. That's how I wrote my first book, mostly verbally. So many years in computers. Alright, while we're listening, let's get back to doing some stretching. Do some head rolls. Pick an object directly behind you on a wall. And turn your head both directions, taking your chin down and sweeping around like this. That's one repetition. We'll do 10 of these. And see if we can get our neck stretched a little bit as well as our upper shoulder muscles. Here we go. 4, 5, 7, 8. I like it. Shoulder rolls to the back and then to the front. The front 10. Wrist rolls to the outside. We're not going to do any specific number of these. roll these as far around as possible. Try to do a full 360 with the wrist to the outside. And then back to the inside. Working on a computer all the time, or anything that has repetitive motions with the wrists and your hands, is very good for you. Several times a day, I recommend, especially if you're working on computers. All right, elbow rolls to the outside. Wax off, if you remember. I didn't say anything.
Anything is defined as plural of anything, someone or something of importance, and someone or something of importance.
Sometimes she'll answer a question or say something and I won't have said anything. Like there's a ghost in the room. Anyhow, outside again. Wax off. Join us for more. We're rolling our elbows a moment, and we're going to go into shoulder rolls in a minute. Please join us. Hi, is that Cheyenne? Cheyenne Gilly? Welcome. If you're sitting down, stand up. Getting a little bit of warm-up done. Any questions on health you've got, let me know. Today's main topic is going to be weight loss. We'll turn the music off when we start getting around to discussion. But in the meantime, get up and stretch with me. Shoulder rolls to the back. Working on the computer all day, you could not only get repetitive motion injury and soreness in your wrists, but you can get it as high up as your shoulders. Other side, all the way around. Remember, you want to get a full 360 on it. Full 360. All right, to the front, other side again. Just let it roll as it's comfortable, no particular speed. Remember, for humans, movement is lubrication. As you're moving and rolling this shoulder, you're also lubricating all the parts inside. Rotator cuff, extremely important. That's why we do stretching and movement, limber warm-up before we do anything with resistance. It doesn't matter if it's band, it doesn't matter. Before you do any kind of resistance training, always make sure your joints are limber. Other side, to the front. Again, roll it at whatever speed will for you. The objective is simply to get the movement. Take a nice shoulder stretch behind the back. You take your arms, put it as far back as you can reach. Take your other arm, your free arm, slightly give it a pull. I don't mean a lot. Just to where you feel the tug. Just to where you feel it right here and up here. As far as it will go quickly. I've been stretching a long time, so I may be stretching a lot farther than you can. Don't push it. Just as far until it's comfortable. And you want to hold the stretch, any stretch, but you want to hold the stretch for 30 seconds minimum. Minimum 30 seconds. Any stretch, doesn't matter what you're stretching. The Golgi tendon organ, the GTO, which is at the end of all of our muscles and connects to the end of our tendons, that will not release and allow the muscle to relax unless you hold the stretch for at least 30 seconds. See, too often I see runners trying to do hamstring and calf stretches and they hold it for 10 seconds and then off they go. It's worthless. Worthless. You gotta hold the stretch at least 30 seconds for it to be effective. The longer the better. So 30 seconds minimum. Alright, shake it out. Switch to the other side. Again, just as far down as is comfortable. And bring it over. Only to the point where it's comfortable. Do not pull where it hurts. Only to where it's comfortable. Lean your body along in with it. You want to get that full range of motion stretch if possible. And once again, we're holding this at least 30 seconds. It's good. When you're doing this properly, and you hold it a long time, at least 30 seconds, as I say. One, you'll feel the relaxation once the GTO kicks. The inhibition is released. And always, watch your breathing. If you've never learned any breathing techniques, if anybody would like to learn one, let me know and I'll teach you one of my favorites. It's very good for meditation and relaxation. But proper breathing technique is important in literally everything. Breathing is not necessarily just an autonomic function. It's going to happen 24/7 whether you're paying attention to it or not. But the more you can pay attention to your breathing, specifically while you're doing exercise or tasks, even mental tasks, the more you can pay attention to your breathing, you'll center yourself. You tend to concentrate a little bit better. I highly recommend meditation. I started doing transcendental meditation. I was very lucky. My high school offered a class in transcendental meditation. So there we were. I was 15, 16 years old learning TM. I've used it ever since. That's been a while. Here's a fun question for you guys. My birthday this year, on my birthday, I'm going to be the same age as the year I was born. The last two digits, obviously. See if you can guess. Okay. So, my birthday is coming up here in April. Right? So I'm going to be the same age as the year I was born. I'll be impressed if any of you guys can do the math and figure that one out. Who has joined us? Hello, YouNow person. Glad you could join us. And just a heads up for you guys. If you have friends, they fall off the wagon, be patient. Eventually, they're going to have to get back up on that wagon, and they're going to need some support getting back up on that wagon. Make sure that you're available for them. And I will always be available for my friends, family, or anyone else who needs me. If anybody I know is maybe watching, you know who I am. Anyhow, you guys hit me up with any health questions. We're doing some stretching right now.
I got to get my weights done this morning, you guys. Doesn't matter what else is going on. So hit me up with health questions. I am an ACE certified personal trainer, an ACE certified health coach. My specialties are getting rid of cigarettes, helping people quit smoking, helping people lose weight, working with type diabetes, managing permanent lower back pain and chronic pain overall. These are the areas that I concentrate in, my specialties, if you will. We're going to kill the music in a bit. I'm ready, but Puddin's Mecca. Puddin's. You know, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you were over in England. Just a guess. Maybe one of our UK folks. We have a lot of UK folks. I'm turning you down just a little more. I'm not going to compete with the music, you guys. Low background. This year, you smoke those cigarettes. I don't care if you vape. If you're using nicotine, you got to get rid of it. Nicotine is bad, bad, bad. I don't mean using it in chewing, snuff, smoking, vaping. Get rid of the tobacco. Period. Get rid of the nicotine. I don't care if you use nature's finest, as long as it's good for you and you either have the license or you're in a state that's got it legalized. That's awesome. It's a whole lot better than drinking alcohol, I'll tell you that much, or any of the other drugs that are out there, especially the ones that are killing about 150 to 175 people a day. Anyhow, anybody have any questions yet? Health questions? Hit me up. Puddins. I want to know, are you over in England? Just curious. Puddins. It sounds like something British to me, like tuppence. Anyhow, stretching. Follow me. Elbows to the back. Both sides. Again, you're just going as far as is comfortable. The objective here is we're trying to get the lumbar, the lower back stretched out and begin to open up our hips. Because we're going to get into opening up our hips pretty intently here shortly after we warm up our knees as well. Right now your feet should be about shoulder width apart and you're simply following the weight of your arms as they carry you all the way around. If you're doing this properly, you might even hear a little crack, crack, crack as some of your vertebrae adjust themselves, especially if you've been sleeping and you've been laying down or sitting down for a while. Your spine will feel a lot better when you loosen it up a bit. All right, let's do the knees. Now, be careful, because this one, you can fall over if you're not balanced. Keep together. Ankles touching, knees together, hands on knees. You're going to go around this way. Doesn't matter what direction you go first. Just follow the knees, the hands on the knees. For those of you that ever deal with any ACL injuries or have knee issues, this is an awesome way to get all of that cartilage and those ligaments and everything that's supporting that kneecap, your patella, get it in, moving. Now the other direction, whatever direction you were going first, go the other way. Again, be with the balance on this. Don't look down, pick an object straight ahead of you. I'm looking at you guys. That way you can help keep your balance a little easier on this one. There. Feels good on the knees when you're doing that. Now we're going to open up the hip. This is a simple sweep. I'm going to take the knee, I'm going to bring it up here, I'm going to sweep it around. And you want to place it, don't let it fall. Place the foot. I'll show you just one. Alright? That's opening up your hip. It's also trying to work a little bit the hamstrings and loosen up glutes in the back. We'll want to do 10 of these on each side. Open up our hips right now. Like I say, if you have any questions, you guys, hit me up on this stuff. It's here for. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, open up the other hip direction. 1. You can do this either hands hanging or hands on hips, whatever feels the best. 2, whichever helps you keep your balance the best also. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now let's just bring the knee up to the chest. These are rapid, 10 on either side. We're bringing the entire hamstring into play here. We want to stretch the entire back of the hammies. This will work your calves a bit as well. We also release a bit on the quadriceps, but more on the hammies. So let's do 10 on either side. Thusly, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, if you're standing, and you should be for doing all of this, bouncing on your toes. This is really going to get the back of those calves warmed up. Don't have to go high. Just bouncing on your toes. Believe me, you do this for about 30 seconds. You begin to feel that burn in the back of your calves. If you want to turn it into a jump, you can. Rocking back and forth. Again, the objective is movement. Getting all of the blood flowing to all the different parts of the body. For those of us, like me, who are diabetic, having good circulation to your toes and your fingers is extremely important. One of the first things that begins to happen when the body begins to give up on processing the blood sugars, and the body says, I'm no longer going to process all the sugars that you put into your system. Your pancreas begins to say, well, I'll function a little bit, I'll give you a little bit of insulin, but the bottom line is, if you have diabetes, type 2 diabetes mellitus, like me and 30 million other Americans, you have to manage it. And that's more than just taking the medication the doctor gives you. You've got to find ways to keep your circulation strong through your entire body. The distal, your toes, your fingers, those are the ones that tend to go first. So, movement, I don't care if you're running, I don't want you to go join the gym. I'm not talking, you turning into an athlete overnight. I'm just talking about you moving, getting off your butt, doing some stretching, doing some limbering, take a walk. What I do, I started with just 1 mile walk, 50 pounds heavier than this. Got rid of the cigarettes, quit the cigarettes that night before, so I started was just going for a walk. 110 pounds later, 3 years after becoming a personal trainer and health coach, now I help everybody else do the same thing. Really, it's a simple thing. Anyhow, hit me up with questions. We're going to start talking about numbers in a little while, but first, I want to get some of my weights done. Anybody out there dealing with any particular health issues they want to share? Remember, if you don't want to talk about them live, you can always message me. Reach out to me on any of my platforms. My Facebook page for Pushing Double Nickels is probably the one I answer the fastest. 7,000 people, I tend to get a lot of messages, so I try to stay on top of that. Especially if for them to buy a copy of book number 2 coming out at the end of this year. Hope you guys do too. Book number 1 was to help people. Book number 2 is to help
these guys. I think some of you remember my crew. Hey Zoe, wake up. Huh? Wake up. Lazy buns. Yeah, I get up long before they do on a daily basis. Long before they do. My internal clock has me up normally at 8 a.m. and 6 a.m. every day. Once you get your internal circadian clock in tune and it's in balance, going to sleep and waking up at the same time on a daily basis is going to be very important for you to remain balanced and healthy overall. Alexa, stop. Don't want to compete with that. Sorry. Anyhow, hit me up with some questions, you guys. Anything that you can think of. Comments, theories. Have any of you been recently diagnosed as pre-diabetic or been hit as being diabetic? Do any of you wonder if you might be diabetic? Right? Do any of you know your BMI? I'd be very curious. Does anybody who's watching right now know what their body mass index is? You can certainly go find out right now in about 2 seconds. Just go Google BMI calculator, body mass index calculator, put in your height and your weight, come back and it'll give you your number right there on the chart. Go look it up right now, I dare you. My BMI when I'll show you the scary picture, you guys. This is the scary picture, to me anyway. This was me at 252 pounds. That was my heaviest. And at that time, my BMI was 38. 38. Just so you know, that is not just obese, that's very obese. So at 252 pounds, and remember, that was 50 pounds heavier than this, okay? So for me, 250 pounds for me was very big. I could not see my toes, let's put it that way. Obesity runs in my family on both sides of my family. So for me, genetically, I am predisposed for being heavy. That's my family tree on both sides. I had an uncle who was very, very big. I mean, very big. I mean, I was obese, but he was mortally obese to the point where he could have done one of the, those reality shows probably himself at one point. So for me, I understand that I can always get back to this easily. I can easily put the pounds back on. I can easily become overweight or obese again. For me, it's predisposed. It's genetically in my family. So I also understand, knowing that now, being a trained professional in the health industry to help people lose weight, yes, I understand that now. If I'd understood this a little bit better, or even a little bit, 13 years ago, when I got hit with type 2 diabetes, when I was still 250 pounds and still smoking cigarettes, because I smoked cigarettes from 15 to 46. I did not do myself any favors, let's put it that way. So I get hit with type 2 diabetes and I'm obese and still smoking cigarettes. I had to figure out what in the freak I was going to do to try and, live a little bit longer. I didn't like the thought of losing toes and fingers because my doctor told me point blank, when I got diagnosed, he told me point blank, you either make some changes, right, or start picking out fingers and toes that you don't like because they're going to cut them off. Eventually, you're going to lose them, and that goes for your feet and eventually your eyesight and yes, your life. Diabetes is nothing to play around with, and it's certainly nothing to cross fingers and hope it doesn't get. Right? The last thing you want to do if you've been diagnosed with diabetes is ignore it. And you know what? Out of the 30 million Americans who have been diagnosed, like me, who've had that, reality discussion with their primary care doctor, and their doctor told them the same thing they told me,
that you might lose fingers and toes and eyesight, and diabetes will kill you if you don't make some changes or do something about controlling it? Do you realize that out of the 30 million Americans, there's 324 million Americans, give or take, 30 million of us are already diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I'm one. Out of those 30 million, though, one third, 10 million, are not seeking any treatment. They're not doing anything about it. Imagine that. I mean, seriously. I hope none of them are looking at me right now, because if you are, I want to talk to you. It makes absolutely no sense when you know you have a disease to ignore the fact that you have the disease and not something about it. That's just like saying, okay, yeah, I'm drinking poison every day. Yeah, you want me to stop, but I don't feel like it. Almost the same thing, in my opinion. Because when my doctor said, Brad, you're way overweight, you smoke cigarettes, and now you have full-blown type 2 diabetes. I wasn't even pre-diabetic. I was full-blown type 2 diabetes. My A1C was through the roof. My blood sugars I should have been in a freaking coma at that point. Because when you start to get the type 2 diabetes, one of the first and the one that hit me the hardest is extreme thirst. You just can't get enough to drink. I've had cotton mouth. That's one thing. But this is like permanent cotton mouth. Permanent. No matter what I drank, juice, water, soda, iced tea, it didn't matter what I drank. I couldn't get enough. It never quenched my thirst. That's a crazy feeling. It really is a crazy feeling to drink and drink and drink and drink and drink, and nothing quenches your. And of course, you drink all those liquids, always going to the bathroom, right? And if you're always drinking liquids and always going to the bathroom, you're depleting everything inside you, all of the nutrients, all of the minerals and things that you need to have inside you. You're just diluting yourself down to nothing. And my vision went wonky. It actually improved because of the pressure going on behind my eyeballs. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Fortunately for me, having been in computer training and IT for 25 years at that, it was about 15 years at that point. I did all the research on what the heck these symptoms could be. What the heck is going on? So by the time I finally did get in and get the labs done and go see my doctor in, May 2005, I had a pretty good idea that I was diabetic. It was kind of obvious that I was diabetic. But sitting there in the doctor's office and hearing it come out of his lips at that time, and telling me, and then all of the stuff about it that I'd been reading about anyway, and I always, my primary care physician, more like my partner than anything else. I trusted him implicitly, and I knew something had to change, and something had to give. I could not continue going the way I was going and expect things that were going to just turn out all right. When you get hit with type 2 diabetes, and at that point, that's a wake-up call. That's nature and body saying, well, the way you've been doing things up till now just isn't working. So we got to make some changes. Okay. See who's joined us. Remember, you guys, I'm waiting for your questions. Any questions you got? If you want to, hey Thomas, what's happening? You want me to talk about specific numbers when it comes to losing weight? That's what I plan to do here shortly. In the meantime, I do plan to at least get some weights done, waiting for you guys to hit me up on any questions. If any of you out there are where I was, you're overweight, or before that I was obese, if you're one of the folks out there who's one of the 2/3 of America that needs to lose weight, right, please ask me any questions you want. That's what I'm here for. My give back this year is to help as much as I can on this. on any platforms and help people get rid of tobacco. My goal is to help as many of the 45 million Americans who are still smoking get that monkey off their back. You can't get your health in order. You can't even start to get your health in order until you get rid of tobacco. And I don't care if you're smoking real cigarettes or if you're vaping or just what you're doing. Any form of tobacco, nicotine, is not good for you, period. So I'll get off my soapbox on that one, but I can tell you from firsthand experience, starting as a teenager, cigarette about 13, 14 years old. By the time I was 15, I was a full pack-a-day cigarette smoker, right? And I stayed that way till I was 46 and got hit with diabetes. If I wouldn't hit with type 2 diabetes, I would probably still be at least 250 pounds, if not heavier, right? And I would have probably kept smoking. I mean, unless you get a perceived health threat, right? Back then, I was just fat and happy. I mean, you don't get symptoms of being overweight and obese, other than, shortness of breath and not being able to exercise much, and your joints may hurt. I mean, you get some symptoms from obese, but not the things like you get when you get nailed with the flu or a cold. You're not getting a runny nose and a fever and a sore throat. I mean, there's nothing that jumps into your face, really, until you get hit with something major, right? Fatty liver disease. I mean, the number of liver transplants it's gone up exponentially, right? Diabetes, and that is the biggie right now. Do you realize that out of the 294 million Americans who have not been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, 294 million Americans have not been diagnosed. 84 million of them are right on the list. They're known as pre-diabetic. Look up the word. Go look up pre-diabetic on Google and see what pops up. Right now, 84 million Americans are pre-diabetic. Right on the line. That's a good news, bad news situation, gang. It really is, because at this point, if you're one of those people, and that's more than 1 out of 4 Americans. If there's 20 people on here, that means that there could be that may have pre-diabetes right now. Right? If you're one of those people, it is a good news, bad news situation. The bad news is if you don't do anything about it. If you don't get scared to death like I did about losing toes and fingers and eyesight and all of the things that can happen when you don't treat diabetes. That's the bad news. You'll become full-blown diabetic. No doubt. If you're pre-diabetic now and you do nothing about it, you don't do anything to make any changes to try and get a list, then you can pretty much guarantee you will become full-blown type 2 diabetic. Now, that comes with all kinds of nasty little things. I mean, like I mentioned, eventually you're going to start getting neuropathy, and this is if it's left untreated, right? You eventually get nerve damage, your nerves begin to die, you get neuropathy, your foot will go gangrenous, your toes will go gangrenous first, they'll cut them off, otherwise it can kill you, right? You can get open lesions, open sores on your feet that won't heal, right? Your fingers can start going numb, you can start losing circular nerves, start dying off in your fingers and your toes, and if enough dies, again, it becomes gangrenous. I had a friend, and I watched him. The first thing he lost was this end of this finger. I can remember. I was in information technology training for 25 years, and a good friend, bless his soul, he's passed now, but that was the first thing that happened to him. And then toes, and then he lost a foot. Eventually, it took his life. And he had just gone too far at that point. He was in need of complete transplant at that point. The point is, when you're pre-diabetic, 84 million Americans are there right now, more than 1 out of 4. And again, the bad news, and I mean to scare you, the bad news is if you don't do something about it, you will become a full-blown type 2 diabetic. I spent one whole year injecting my stomach with a needle with diabetes medication. I mean, I don't like needles anyway, but I had to. And if I had to do it again, guess what? I like being around. So now at least I've gotten my A1C down into a balanced level enough where I'm on oral medication. Two different kinds, but I'm still on full-blown type 2 diabetes medication and will be the rest of my life. My pancreas, according to my doctor, is only half working. It's only 50% working. If you're pre-diabetic, your pancreas may still be fully functional. Even if you just get slightly over the line into diabetes per your A1C, and that's what determines if you're pre-diabetic, diabetic, or not at all, right? Getting that blood test done. If you haven't, do it. Seriously. All of the tests that you need to get done for your doctor are the same numbers that I'm going to ask if you became a client of mine. If you came to me and said, Brad, I want you to help me lose weight. Brad, I need help managing my diabetes. Brad, I have chronic lower back pain. I need to manage it. Because 100 million Americans, like me, suffer permanent damage, permanent lower back pain or upper back pain. Right? 1 out of 3. So there's an awful lot of us out there who have to take over-the-counter medications for pain, for swelling, all of the things that the doctor gives us, right, when we have to deal with this. The bottom line is you want to take as few as possible, as little medication as possible to still be able to function daily, get things done, be a productive person, right? The last thing you want to do is to wind up being a permanent couch potato, because that's what got you into being overweight and heavy in the first place. Take it from the original couch potato. I know. I've seen every Gilligan's Island episode twice at least. You know, I was a child of the 60s and 70s, and I know what it is to sit around and watch TV all the time. I watched the Super Bowl yesterday. I didn't sit down. No, because I'm more comfortable now doing things up and moving. Because I no longer want to be like that. I'm never going to get back to that. That's not going to happen. Even if I hadn't become a personal trainer a couple years ago, even if I hadn't become a health coach a few years ago, just for my own sake, I will never get back to that. It's not going to happen. And my goal for everybody that I work with on weight loss, doesn't matter who it is, put you guys up here a little bit. My goal is to make certain that you're not doing diets to do a diet. Diets are short-term fixes. If you're looking for a short-term fix, that's not the solution. You know, what you need is a long-term change in how you do things. Seriously. I know for sure you're not going to suddenly start eating health food. You know, you're not going to run over to your local grocer and pick up rice cakes and spinach and salad and tofu. Let's be realistic. You're going to keep eating pretty much what you like to eat. But what we have to figure out is how you can do it in such a manner where instead of putting on pounds every day, start taking off pounds every day, or at least over a week. All right? For me, weight loss should be slow, steady, not fast. All these stupid commercials you see on television, ignore them. Every one of them has the same darn thing. Lose weight fast. Guaranteed. Come on. You know they're just trying to sell you their programs. They're trying to sell you their meal replacement plans. You know, whatever it is, they're trying to get money out of you on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis. Are you seriously, I mean, if let's say you're 30 and you're overweight, okay, are you seriously going to join Weight Watchers for 70 years? Are you going to do the South Beach diet for the next 5, 6, 7 decades? No. What you need to figure out is how you can still eat a lot of the foods you like, all right? I still do. But still come down to and maintain a healthy BMI, a healthy weight level. Your body mass index, to me, that's the number that tells me if you're healthy. That tells me if you're physically in the healthy range for your height and your weight. Your body mass index. Go look up the number right now. If your BMI is not in the healthy range, then you obviously need to make some changes. Bottom line, I mean, you don't need me to tell you. Go look it up yourself right now. Body mass index calculator, BMI calculator. Go to the cdc.gov website. Right? I think they also have it on the USDA website. You can look it up anywhere. So find out what your body mass index is. That is going to tell you and me and any health professional, whether it's a personal trainer or your doctor, the BMI. That's what the number that we use to determine if you're in the healthy range. My BMI used to be 38. Healthy for me is 22. That's where I'm at now. 21, 22 is my BMI. That's where I'm supposed to be for my height and my weight, right? For my height and my weight before, it was 38. But then again, my waist size used to be 44, 46. Not kidding. I save even some of the old belts. And I have some of my old clothes from way back then also. And I keep them on purpose so that I back and say, this is what I used to look like. Besides the pictures. I've got shirts that, literally like caftans, that I wore because they hung on me because I didn't have anything that fit. For me to tuck a shirt in back then, it wasn't going to happen, you guys. That's why I laugh when I see these commercials for this new shirt. Love that guy. I had to figure out a solution to a problem. Okay? How to get a shirt that you could wear untucked that looked good. That wasn't the problem. His problem was he had a gut. And didn't want to try and tuck in his shirt so it looked like he was getting ready to give birth. Right? I know. When I was 250 pounds, I looked like I was getting ready to give birth myself. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. So instead of losing weight so that he could tuck his shirt in, what does he do? He invents a whole line of shirts so that he can just have them hang over. Come on. Makes me laugh. I'm sorry. It just makes me laugh. Human beings will find a way, find solutions for problems that aren't necessarily always logical, but emotionally fulfilling. And for this guy, it was, okay, well, I really don't want to lose weight. I like having the spare tire, but my shirts don't look good, so let me see what I can figure out so I can still be heavy and fat and wear a shirt that looks halfway decent. All right, well, like I say, I have shirts that were like caftans that just hung on me. I got them in the closet. I keep them just to remind myself that I can always go there easily. It's a numbers game. If you're carrying extra weight right now, you can take it off. I don't care how old you are. 20, 40, 60, 80. I don't care if you're 100 years old. The human body, one, it's just your vehicle for getting around on this planet, like your car. Only this is a two-wheel version with feet. You still got to maintain it. You still have to take care of the lube oil and filtering and the belts. And again, if you take your vehicle, your car, and you just stick it in your garage and it doesn't go anywhere, it just sits there. When you do go to drive it, how well do you think it's going to run? Not very well. When you go out there, all the tires may be flat, depending on how long it's out there. All of the seals in the engine may have dried out. You might have holes. So you go to turn on your engine and suddenly you've got oil squirting out. And belts will dry up, crack, and break. If you do not maintain your car and use it, not just upkeep, but physically drive the car, because an engine needs to be run. Occasionally you've got to go blow out all the carbon on that thing and take it out on the freeway and just run it up. Just like the human heart. It needs to be moved. It needs to be muscle. You've heard the term muscle car. Well, every car has a muscle. It's its engine, right? And it needs to be used. An engine needs to be run in order to stay in proper form, proper condition. Yes, tuning it, putting in new plugs, putting in new spark plug wires, whatever you require, timing. The human body is no different. You drive this vehicle. You're in the driver's seat. Of that there is no doubt. Right? You drive that vehicle, but you aren't specifically identified just by the vehicle, your body. Right? You're in charge of your body. You're in your body. You are that conscious being, that entity that's looking out the driver's, side of the windshield. And yeah, you're pretty much looking out the windshield right here. Right? And when you look in the mirror, that's your vehicle that you're looking at. Okay, so you need to keep up this vehicle. You need to maintain this vehicle. You need to make sure and make all of the parts in the vehicle are lubed, oiled, filtered. Make sure the engine is maintained and run. You have to run your vehicle engine. You've got to use that vehicle engine. You have to work your heart to keep it in proper running order. How do you tune your car? Sometimes you take it to a professional and it needs to be a tune-up. I'm a personal trainer. You need to tune up your body. I will help you do it. Health coach, personal trainer, doesn't matter if it's me or anybody else. Who is irrelevant. Just the fact that you take the steps to get the help if you need it. Okay? I'm going to offer help today, just talking about some numbers here that you can at least begin to utilize and take control. Control of your daily life to the point where you can bring yourself back into balance and you don't have to do diets. You don't have to go through surgeries or lap band or bariatric or any of that crazy stuff. Sign up for meal replacement plans. It's crazy, what they're trying to get people to do when they can do what needs to be done logically, slowly, over time. Everybody wants immediate gratification. Everybody wants an immediate fix, right? Everybody wants it right now. But remember, you don't get unhealthy overnight. You don't gain weight and become overweight or obese overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. So do not expect, and you should not expect, that you're going to lose weight overnight and get back in balance and healthy again overnight. It's a long-term lifestyle change. It's a slow, gradual process. 110 pounds came off of me over 8 years, right? Beginning in 2005. At 2010, I was 50 pounds down from what I was. I yo-yoed a bit, went up a few pounds, but got back on track. By 2013, I was at weight. I've simply been in maintenance mode for pushing 5 years now. At weight, my BMI is where it needs to be. I didn't even become a certified personal trainer until 2016. Yeah, I was in computer training. I didn't even get anything to do with the health industry until, I was 56. I wanted to become a health coach because that hits exactly what I do. Help people lose weight, help people quit smoking, help people get a balance all the way. A personal trainer is awesome, and a personal trainer can help you lose weight and get in shape, but it's a limited scope of practice compared with a health coach. The ACE certified personal trainer was a prerequisite for me to get the ACE certified health coach, which is what I was after. So yeah, I can motivate your butt off. I pull out my inner Marine when it comes to personal training if I need to, if that's what the person needs. Every person that comes to me requires a different place to start. This isn't cookie cutter solutions. We're talking about individual customized plans, what I call a healthy living plan. So every person comes to me in a different part of the path, a different place on the path of health. If I came to me in 2005, if I said, okay, well, I have a new client, he's 252 pounds, his BMI is 38, he's still smoking cigarettes, and his doctor just hit him with full-blown type 2 diabetes, not pre-diabetes, full-blown diabetes. I would have sat down with me at that time
and figured out, how did we get here? How did I get up to 252 pounds, right? I mean, obviously, the cigarette smoking was obvious. I could have quit any time in that 31-year period if I so chose, right? That's all on me, right? I can say absolutely nothing other than falling to peer pressure as a teenager and starting in the first place. But I could have quit any time. In my 20s, my 30s, I didn't have to wait till I was 46 and get hit with type 2 diabetes to finally decide to quit. But that's what I did. Right? That's why now I say the sooner you can get rid of the tobacco. I don't care if you're vaping. I don't care what it is. The sooner you get nicotine, the better. Right? I got sick every single year, the 31 years I smoked cigarettes. Every single year I got some form of upper respiratory thing, usually bronchitis. Right? I wound up on antibiotics almost every year out of 31 years. Haven't had a case of bronchitis since. And it'll be 13 years this July. So I know they're not good for you, period. Sooner you get rid of the tobacco, better. Anyhow, so I want to talk about numbers today as far as specific numbers when you need to take off weight. Detailed numbers. If you have any questions before I get into this, let me know. But I'm going to do this at the same time I get my weights done, so I will just be chatting at you. Manu Rocks, how you doing? What's going on? Glad you could make it. This is Ask Health Questions Day. So any health questions that you have, hit me up. I am an A-certified health coach, A-certified personal trainer. People normally pay me for this stuff, but my give back this year is spend a couple hours a day on YouNow and help people lose weight, talk about quitting smoking, talk about diabetes. We're talking even about the opioid epidemic. Middle of right now, and we all know somebody who's affected by it. So any questions that you have regarding health, I don't care if it's physical, mental, spiritual, intellectual, doesn't matter. For me, a healthy human being is someone who's balanced all the way around. So being healthy isn't just keeping your car in good condition, keeping your vehicle in good condition. Being healthy is keeping your mind in good condition mentally, emotionally, keeping your feelings and your emotions balanced and under control. Intellectually, you always have to be growing. We learn from the minute we're born to the day, right? No choice. It's going in the brain. Being on top of that and being balanced about what you're learning and how you're learning. And spiritually, we all have a spiritual side. I'm not talking religion. I'm just talking that inner part that has that need for that type of contact. And it doesn't matter how you do it, just do it. Make sure you keep a balance all the way around physically. Who's joined us? Somebody join us. Who's come on? Silent Justice. And whoa, I got to put my glasses on for this one, you guys. Sometimes you guys really challenge me with some of these higuapox. Did I say that right? Higuapox. Silent Justice CPO. Welcome aboard, you guys. I hope anything that I can help you with as far as health, that's what I'm here for. They pay me. You can actually go hire me on a one-on-one basis. I Skype with most of my clients. People that need to lose weight, especially when you're heavy, like I was. And let me show you the scary picture again so you understand. People that get heavy, where their BMI is 38, like mine was, and 252 pounds. At that time, I didn't want to walk into a health club. I didn't want to walk into a gym. There's absolutely no way you were going to get me to walk into a gym at that point. Even though I needed to do something about losing weight and exercise, I may not have had a clue, but I knew for one thing for sure is I did not want to walk into a gym. All right, my body image was not at the point where I was ready for some, nothing personal, millennial buff, personal training time to come. Oh, can I help you? It looks like you need to, lose weight. God only knows. You always imagine the worst. You walk in the door and every eye in the club turns looks at you. And it's like you shrink down to about the size of a walnut.
But the bottom line is I understand the feeling. When you're overweight or you're obese and you know you have to do something about it, but you don't want to go walking into some public place and go, hey, I need to lose weight. But you know you have to do something. That's why my clients, because I work with a lot of folks now who are where I was on the obese side, they appreciate the fact that we can do it on Skype, right? That still gives me the eye to eye, still gives me the personal time with them. And quite often we'll just sit down face to face before we're ever doing anything on the physical exercise side. We have to spend a lot of time talking about the nutrition side, because as I start talking about these numbers, you guys, this is what's going to be important for you to understand when it comes to losing weight and maintaining a proper balance with your weight. You plan to live to 100, and all 4 of my millennial kids I expect to live to 100 plus without drooling themselves or wearing diapers, right? I expect millennials today to live to 100 plus, healthy, happy, productive, right? But it's not going to happen unless we as a society start getting our act in gear, our act in I won't say act in gear, but until we as a society start addressing the fact that we've got a global issue with obesity, and America is leading the way. Literally, 20% of the entire planet is overweight or obese. 1 out of 5 people on this planet. First time over the last years, we have more people eating more food than there are people starving. So we have more people overeating than are undereating at this point. If we could figure out a way to redistribute all of that food, we could probably end hunger. But in the meantime, we have an obesity crisis. And globally, 20% of the global population, everywhere on this planet, are obese or overweight. 1 out of 5. Now, Americans have always led the way. Semper Fi, hoorah. I was a Yankee, right? For me, the United States is the best country on this planet. Nothing personal for any of my European friends or South American friends or anybody else watching, but being an American, that's who I am. And we have led the way for a couple centuries now in many different things. Unfortunately, we now lead the way in the obesity epidemic. Yeah, like I said, 1 out of 5 people on this planet are now where I was, overweight, or where I was before that, obese. 1 out of 5, okay? 20%. But the numbers in the United States are scarier, much, much scarier. Right now, 2/3 of the population in the United States, 2/3, we're talking nearly 67% of Americans, are either overweight or obese. 2/3. Now, 20% of the global population, 20% of the global population, but 67% of the United States population. Out of 324 million Americans, over 200 million Americans are where I was, either overweight or obese, right now. And of those, 84 million are pre-diabetic, right on the line to becoming full-blown diabetics, like me. So, the objective, as I see it, 1, we need to get this in check. We literally have to get this in check. And it comes down to simple numbers. It really does come down to simple numbers. Right? If you need to lose weight, we need to figure out how to turn your positive energy balance into a negative energy balance. In physical fitness terms, that simply means more calories being burned off than calories are being consumed. Okay, so let's talk about some specific numbers, because this is key. And then after I talk about these numbers, I'm going to give you guys the opportunity, people who are participating right now, to join me in a 1-week experiment to see if we, all the people that are watching now, can start doing something on your own with a little bit of help from me to start taking off some pounds, to start moving in that direction. Because I guarantee you, if 67% of the populace of the United States needs to lose weight, some of you have to be in that category. Some of you have to be where I was. Right? Now, the nice thing about being a personal trainer at 56 and a health coach at 56, after having already been fat and a 30-year smoker, is I understand. I've been there, done that. You know, I'm the been there, done that kind of guy. And I basically took myself at 46 and put myself right back into Marine Corps boot camp. I went through boot camp at 17 years and 3 months old. My dad signed me in. Right? I basically had to go back to boot camp. I took myself back to boot camp to get this accomplished. I literally had to figure out my own game plan for getting rid of the cigarettes, for getting rid of 110 pounds, for getting my type 2 diabetes managed to the point where I wasn't going to be losing fingers and toes and eyesight. I don't like that idea. And I've been dealing with lower back pain and back ache since my early 40s. You know, nearly 20 years I've been dealing with permanent back pain. It took them nearly about 13, almost 14 years until they finally did all the proper MRIs and the proper bone scans and the proper x-rays and everything to put together the pain puzzle that is my back. You don't want my back, let's put it that way. And I didn't do myself any favors getting up to 250 pounds. Because when you're carrying more weight than you need to, sure, you're putting extra pressure on your heart, your organs, you may have visceral fat, you may even have fatty liver disease by putting on extra weight. But on top of that, your physical frame, things like your ankles, your knees, your hips, and your lower back are going to suffer when you carry extra weight. The more extra weight you carry, the more damage you can do. So, I understand. Been there. 110 pounds later, I'm never going to go back. And let's talk about now what the numbers are that you can use to understand how you got where you're at and can get back from that precipice. Especially if you're one of those people who are pre-diabetic right now. If you don't know, look in the mirror. Are you overweight? Are you more than overweight? Look up your BMI right now. Go on Google. Go look up BMI calculator. Look up your body mass index calculator and find out what your number is. You should also know what your A1C number is, your blood sugar number. If you have not been in and had your blood work done to find out what your blood sugars are, what your cholesterol is, all the numbers that you find out with your annual physical from your doctor. You need to find these numbers out. If you haven't done it, do it. Let's put it this way. Just like your car, the one you drive with the 4 tires, right? This car requires maintenance, requires that you pay attention to it, that you put the time and effort into maintaining it for it to function properly, for it to last any length of time. All right? The balance truly is to be healthy as an individual is a fairly simple formula. 75% of your concentration should be on your diet, your nutrition, what goes into your body. 75% of the time you spend thinking about your health and being healthy, if it's losing weight, gaining weight, whatever, 75% of your time should be on nourishment, nutrition, what is going into your body. 25% of your time and your energy should be going into activity. I won't throw the E word at you, exercise, although that's what it really is, but activity level, getting off your butt and moving, getting your ticker to the point where you're getting the cardio required to work that muscle to make it last. And you take your muscle car out, you just take your car out on the freeway and blow out the carbon, right? You exercise that engine, you really put it through its paces. The heart is the same thing. You want to put that heart through its paces. You want to exercise and blow out all of that plaque, any arteriosclerosis that you've got building up in your artery walls. Right now, coronary arterial disease, CAD, is still the leading cause of death in America and globally. But in America, CAD is our biggie. And it is the one that we can prevent the most. The one that we can stop in its tracks, literally. All we have to do is get down to a proper weight, maintain a good activity level, so that we can get to a balanced level and keep our BMI, our body mass index, at the number where it's supposed to be. Again, I am not as concerned about your weight as I am about your BMI. Your body mass index number, that's the number that tells me physically, is your height and weight, right, appropriate, right, for you to be healthy. Your A1C, your blood sugar, your 60-day tolerance for blood sugars, that comes from your blood tests. That's the number you find out from your doctor. You can find it out very easily. Just get your labs done, get in and talk to your doctor. When you get those labs done, you're also going to be finding out what your cholesterol levels are. Because you need to know, is your high cholesterol where it needs to be? Is your low lipids where they need to be? How are your triglycerides? In trifecta, you need to understand, not just the total, all of the different parts. How's your blood pressure? When you're carrying extra weight, you have a tendency to have raised blood pressure. Right? Are you on blood pressure medication? Are you taking cholesterol medication? All of the things that I want to know as a health professional, personal trainer, or health coach when I begin helping someone. I work directly with doctors. Patients will put me directly in touch with their doctors if they've been hit with something that they want help with and want me to talk to their doctor directly. I do so. As a full-time individual, ACE personal trainers and ACE health coaches, we're all HIPAA regulated, just like any doctor or nurse. So anything that goes on between you and me, or between me and your doctor, is strictly confidential. Everything is kept strictly filed under lock and key, period. So it's an easy thing when I work with someone to have them put me in touch with their doctor so that I can get their recommendations from their doctor if they have any things that I need to know about. It's a very good thing as a health professional when I'm working with someone, especially putting together an exercise program, something or an activity plan. So 75% of the concentration that you need to put in to be healthy is in your diet, your nutrition. 25% is in your activity levels, getting off your butt and moving. Right? You can't ignore either one of these. Both of these are required for you to be a balanced, healthy individual. As far as that 75% goes, let's talk about that first. Let's talk about what you're doing right now that's going to make a difference between whether you're gaining weight, losing weight, or in maintenance mode. Okay. 2/3 right now are gaining weight. 2/3 of Americans right now are overweight or obese. So that means that 2 out of 3 people are not balancing what's going on. Just like me, right? I would eat anything I wanted, right? I wasn't watching my portion sizes. I didn't care what I ate, when I ate it, where I ate it, how I ate it, who I ate it with. For me, it really was a seafood diet. I would see food and I would eat it. Bottom line. And so, yes, I was sedentary. I worked in computers. I did computer training. I was sitting all the time. So, but I was fat and happy. 250 pounds, smoking my cigarettes. I'd go out at lunch, get me a McDonald's double quarter pounder with cheese, fillet of fish, French fries, a milkshake, schlep it all back to the office and eat it and sit there all day working on my computer. Or drive off to a meeting at a client and sit down and talk about working on computers. Right? Or sit in traffic for hours going someplace to go talk about working on computers. But the bottom line is I was always sitting. Office, client's office, in the car, at home, I was always sitting. I was sedentary. So One, I wasn't watching, other than seeing it cross my lips. I wasn't watching what I was eating calories wise. Portion sizes were irrelevant to me. They meant nothing. I had no formal exercise program. I mean, I was really happy in computer training. I'm 25 years. I was at the top of my game. If you look me up on LinkedIn, you'll see years worth of, wonderful letters from my clients. I mean, I loved computer training. I loved IT. I still do. But I was yanked out of it. My permanent lower back damage will not allow me to sit for long periods of time anymore. I pushed myself to the point, getting heavy and being sedentary, that it did permanent damage to my lower back. So I stand here in front of you now, literally, not sitting very much, because you put on weight, you're putting on pressure on your hips, your knees, your ankles, your lower back. If you sit all of the time on top of that, if you're sedentary, and we become a sedentary society, then that means that any calories that you're putting in are strictly becoming positive energy balance. It means you're adding on weight, because your autofunctions are not enough to burn off all the calories that you're consuming, not even close. And let's talk about these numbers, okay? A 250-pound person, when I was obese, right? And again, show you the scary picture. It's on my discussion wall. It's on my wall. I put this on there as well, so you guys can go look at that. That was me at 252 pounds, okay? Now, let's say at 252 pounds, that was my weight, all right? That was my BMI at 252 pounds. Let's say I was 6'6", 8", okay? So let's say I was 6'6", 250. My BMI was, where it needs to be. If I just wanted to maintain that weight, 250 pounds, I didn't want to lose any weight, didn't want to gain any weight. My caloric intake for about 250 pounds is about 2,300 calories. Thereabouts, approximately. So that means if I was 250 pounds, right, and whether you're in shape or fat, it doesn't matter. Whatever your weight is, if you're 250 pounds, you'll require about 2,300 calories a day just to maintain that weight, not to lose or gain anything. 200-pound person, about 1,900 calories. 150-pound person, about 1,400 calories. You can see the general gist of where I'm going. Now, that is just your autonomic daily function burn. What your heart rate, your breathing, cardiopulmonary, everything, whatever it is that's making your body run by itself, that's the basic minimum caloric intake that you need to maintain that weight. So, let's say a 200-pound person, they want to maintain 200 pounds. They consume 1,900 calories a day and not gain weight, not lose weight. Okay? 1,900 calories. Now, you go, okay, so what's 1,900 calories? That's real easy to figure out, especially today. I mean, every single restaurant, every single fast food place, every place you go, they have to list the number of calories in what you're ordering. My favorite fast food junk meal is McDonald's double quarter pounder with cheese. Love it. Alexa, how many calories are in McDonald's double quarter pounder with cheese? I already know, but I want you to
McDonald's
listen.
double quarter pounder with cheese has 262 calories per 100 grams, 74 calories per ounce. A typical size is an item of MC Donald's double quarter pounder with cheese, which contains 280 grams, 9.88 ounces, of MC Donald's double quarter pounder with cheese, and provides 733 calories.
733 calories just from McDonald's double quarter pounder with cheese. 733 calories, okay? So if your daily caloric intake just to maintain a 200-pound body is 1,900 calories, right? Let's round it off to 750, let's say, for the double quarter pounder with cheese. If you had 2 double quarter pounders with cheese is 1,500 calories, plus some fries. That would be your daily caloric intake. And And you can figure it out with almost anything. I mean, Alexa, how many calories are in a large French fries?
Big Chip's calorific value is 312 calories.
Say about 300 calories for a large French fries. Right? You can, everything that crosses your limit, if you go to Starbucks or McDonald's or any sit-down restaurant, even at home, you can figure out the calories that are going into your system. Right? That's an easy thing to do. Okay? It's a simple matter of tracking it. And yeah, if you want to lose weight, you want to get off the obese list, if you want to take your prediabetes and get off the prediabetes list, you've got to put in some effort. You've got to do the homework. Bottom line is life worth living enough for you to want to make yourself so that you're going to be around till 100 years without drooling on yourself and without wearing diapers, being as healthy as you possibly can. Before I continue on these numbers, I want to remind you guys, 2 years in a row, lifespans have decreased. What does that mean? That means for the first time in, I don't know how many decades we've been tracking this, but for the first time in 2016 and 2017, life's decreased. That means that the average lifespan for Americans got shorter. That's unacceptable. That's just flat out unacceptable, you guys. I mean, we're talking 2018. We're at the level in modern medicine where we may be able to end the aging process within the next 40, 50 years. We may literally be able to figure out how to stop aging. But if we don't stop stuffing ourselves to the point where we're shortening our lifespans and knocking ourselves out with saturated foods and high fatty foods and getting all hit with diabetes and dying younger, that modern medicine is going to do us any good, right? I mean, what's the point? If you're not going to work to keep your vehicle running properly, if you're not going to maintain your car, I mean, if you refuse to, keep an eye on the tires, replace the belts and tune it up and put the proper oil in and make sure it runs to keep it healthy, I mean, if you aren't going to put in that kind of effort, nobody's going to do it for you. Right? This strictly has to come from you. Now, people hire me to help motivate them, right, and get them going on this, but eventually my goal is so that you don't need me anymore. My goal as a personal trainer and as a health coach is to make you your own health coach, to make you your own personal trainer so that you don't have to hire somebody at 30, 40, 50 bucks an hour to do it for you. Now, it's an awesome investment to begin with when you first want to get started. And when I put together a healthy living plan for somebody, I make sure it's going to be successful because we do it properly. So when you have that need and you have to hire a professional, very much worth every penny, right? But at the same time, what I'm talking about is things that you're going to do every day, every week, every month, every year, every decade, for as long as you're on this planet to keep yourself healthy. And you're not going to sign up for diet plans. You're not going to do Weight Watchers for 50 years. You're not going to sign up for South Beach diet, meal replacements or whatever for 50 years. Right? You're not going to hire a personal trainer or health coach for 50 years. But what you are going to do is figure out how you, within yourself, and if you need a professional to help you get you on the path, fine. But you need to figure out how to get yourself to the point where you're back in balance, where you lose the weight you need to lose, where you stay at the weight you need to be at for the proper BMI. You're cutting that 75%, the nutrition you got to watch, that 25% of activity that you must have, right? That balance is going, right? So now you just need to figure out, all right, I know I weigh 250 pounds. I know I need to lose 50 pounds, let's say. And if you can lose that 50 pounds, you can get off the pre-diabetes list. You can get your health a little bit better in order. You can take some stress off your heart. You can take stress off your bones. You can have your pancreas function better, and it's been proven when you lose weight, your brain functions better. What more can you ask for than you get to think better? You get to think smarter by losing weight. So let's look at it from the vantage point where I was at my heaviest, 250 pounds, all right? Let's say we want to take off 10%, just 10%, all right? Because that's what I try and start everybody at. Everybody, I don't care if you come to me at 300 pounds, 350 pounds, 252, it doesn't matter. I want to start you at 10%. Get 10% off your body weight. Quite often, taking that 10% off, that 10% can get you off that permanent pre-diabetes list. Or excuse me, the pre-diabetes list, and not take you into permanent full-blown diabetes. A simple 10% can help get you off of that list. All right. So 250 pounds. Let's just suppose you can work with these numbers within your own weight. You want to take off 10%. How are you going to do it? I mean, what is the goal? What is the objective? How does that happen? What does that look like? Okay, so you already know that at 250 pounds, about 2,400 calories is what you need just to stay at 250 pounds, right? 2,400 calories. So you can easily figure out, what you're putting into your system on a daily basis that will equal 2,400 calories or more. And this is what I want you to do, because if you want to participate in this, I want you to do this every single day, right? Starting tomorrow, let's say, or you can start today if you like, it doesn't matter. But I want you to go for a full week doing this, all right? What you want to start is to keep a diary of what you're eating and drinking and snacking on. Everything that's going to cross your lips during the course of the day. I don't care what you eat or drink. I don't care if you go to Starbucks and pick up a latte. I don't care if you hit the snack machine in the office and get some chips. Everything that goes in your lips every single day for an entire week. Okay? And here's specifically what I want to know in this food diary, food log. Call it whatever you want. Just get yourself a big bunch of paper and start with what I ate. Okay, so you write down what I ate. Let's say it was a McDonald's quarter pounder with cheese. You went to Mickey D's. So you write down what you ate specifically. McDonald's double quarter pounder with cheese and whatever ingredients, if you had extra cheese, whatever. If you know the calories of that particular item, and remember, on the menu, they're listed on the wall in every fast food restaurant. You can look up every one of them. So you can go Google right now, or you can ask Alexa or Siri. There's no way that you cannot find out the number of calories in whatever you're eating. All right. Alexa, how many calories are in a tuna sandwich?
One tuna salad sandwich has 438 calories. Did that answer your question?
Yes, Alexa, thank you.
Thanks for your feedback.
Bottom line is, there's no way that you cannot figure out, keeping a log of what you're eating, the number of calories that are going in at the same time. That is our objective. Remember, we're trying to figure out how the weight is being put on, where the calories are coming from. Okay? To do that, we've got to literally write down everything that goes into our system. So, what? I want to know what you ate. McDonald's double quarter pounder with cheese. Okay? I want to know when you ate it. What time did you have it? Were you in the mood at 10 a.m. to go get that burger? I want to know what you ate, the number of calories, if you know it, and figure it out. Otherwise I'll figure it out with you. What you ate, when you ate it, what time, where you ate it. Did you eat it in your car? Did you eat it at the restaurant? Did you take it home? Did you eat it in the office? I want to know where you ate it. I want to know if you ate it with somebody, right? Who you ate it with. Did you eat it on your own or with somebody? And I want to know why you ate it. Yeah, I'm being very detailed and specific about this, but for a reason, right? What we're trying to figure out is not only the number of calories that you're putting into your body, but where they're coming from and why they're going in there. One of the things I'm finding, not just as a personal trainer, but more as a health coach, weight loss specialist, is a lot of the reasons that people eat aren't necessarily related to hunger. Okay? When you're hungry, that's a normal, natural thing, although that can change as you're losing weight also, and we can talk about that. But people eat for a lot of other reasons other than I'm hungry. And there's one reason that it's called comfort food, right? Because it is comforting to eat things, especially things that are high in saturated fat, trans fat, the things that have that buttery texture on the tongue, things that make us emotionally feel better when we eat them. I have my own comfort foods, fried chicken, steak, meatloaf. So I understand, and I didn't get up to 205 pounds and then 252 pounds not having a love of food. I do. I'm a gourmet cook. I love food. But we're trying to figure out how we got overweight. So to do that, we've got to first figure out where all the calories are coming from. So right now we're talking about keeping a food log. And everybody who's on here, you participate in this, and we can daily and follow up next week after the week is over and really talk about it. But keeping a food log of everything that goes into your system, everything that crosses your lips every single day for 1 week. Hang on, somebody got a question for me. Let me double check. Somebody's joined us as well. Hello. Oh, hey, Dan, how's it going? Dan, behave yourself. Swear to God. Don't watch football? Don't watch anything? Come on. Bad. We're talking important stuff here. Well, we're talking about people that need to lose weight. Okay? Right now, 2/3 of America is either overweight or obese. So we're trying to figure out how people can get from a negative energy balance, or excuse me, a positive energy balance to a negative energy balance. That's what we're up to. So we're keeping a food log, a food diary, everything that goes into your face, right? I want to know what you ate. I want to know when you ate it. I want to know where you ate it. I want to know who you ate it with, if anybody, and I want to know why you ate it. And that means everything that goes in your gullet all day until 1 week. Today's Monday, so everything that you ate today, when you ate it, what time you ate it, where you ate it, did you eat it in the office, at home, in your car, whatever, who you ate it with, if anybody, and why you ate it. Were you hungry, or was there some other reason why you ate it? And then at the end of each day, right, you can tally up that number of calories. I mean, like I say, there's no way you cannot figure out now exactly the number of calories that are going into your system, right? So every single day for 1 week, you keep that food log. At the end of that week, we can sit down and figure out, you can even sit down and figure out, based on your weight and the minimum calories you need just to maintain that weight, are you in a negative energy balance, or are you in a positive energy balance? Is your diet over that week showing that you're gaining weight or losing weight? And remember, every 3,500 calories that you consume, that you don't burn off in some form of exercise or activity, every 3,500 calories turns into 1 pound of fat. So that's like 4.5 double quarter pounders. Let's say it's 5 double quarter pounders with cheese. Turns into 1 pound of fat. Okay. If you need 2,000 calories just to maintain your weight at where you're at now, let's say, you need 2,000 just to stay where you're at, and you're consuming 3,500 calories more than that, right? Whether that's on a daily basis or over a week or whatever, for every 3,500 calories additional that you consume, that you don't burn off, you're putting on 1 pound of fat. So with the food diary, the food log, you can see exactly, here's the number of calories I'm putting into my face on a daily basis or on a week. Add it up either way, both ways. At the same time you're keeping the food log, the food diary, you need to keep an activity log as well, right, for each day. So Monday, you've got your food diary, your food log, and you're eating everything that goes in your face. I don't care, like I say, if you stop at Starbucks for a latte, everything that you consume counts. Liquid, beverage, snacks, it doesn't matter. Okay? So we know everything that went into your face every single day for a week. The same time, I want to know anything that you did that I can consider something that gets you off your butt that may have burned some calories. Anything. Did you walk the dog? Did you go shopping at the mall? I mean, if you actually have an exercise program, maybe you do formally go walking or a jogger, whatever. Right? I want to know what activities you did, if any. Right? That may count as burning calories. And playing ping pong, going golfing, going swimming, almost anything that gets you off your butt and moving. I can figure out some form of burn calories wise so that I can knock off from the total calories you consumed on that day. I can look at your activity levels, and then based on the activity levels, your basic autonomic function, based on your weight, how many calories just to stay at weight, we can easily figure out, are you at a positive energy balance or a negative energy balance? You might be putting on a pound a week. You might be putting on a couple pounds a week. Right? You might be putting on a pound a month. Bottom line is, it doesn't matter how much weight you're putting on or how fast or slow you're putting it on. If you're putting on weight over time, like I say, I didn't get overweight overnight, right? It slowly happens. And before you know it, your BMI is way out of proportion for where it needs to be. So, those are the numbers that you need to look at as looking to begin losing weight, right? We need to keep a food log for 1 week. You guys all want to participate in this. That's awesome. Whoever wants to keep that food diary, and let me repeat it. So write it down. If you don't remember, you can watch this video again on Tumblr or YouTube, or just email me or send me a message, and I'll send you directly what I want you to do. So you're writing down what you're eating and be specific. If it came out of a box, from Nabisco, or if it came from a restaurant or a fast food place, or you made it yourself, it is. Does it have Nabisco on it? Did it come from McDonald's? I want to know what you ate. And you can figure, the calories. Everything has the calories listed now. So I want to know what you ate. I want to know what time you ate it, right? What time did you eat that meal? I want to know where you had it. Did you eat it in the restaurant? Did you take it home? Is it something you cooked at home? Did you have it in the office? Did you eat it in your car? You'd be amazed at some of the strange places I find people eat food. I want to know if you ate it with somebody. Who did you eat it with? Was it a family meal? Right? Did you eat it in the office? Was everybody sharing a pizza? I want to know if you ate it with somebody. Right? And then I want to know why that food. What was going through your mind when you decided, I want to go have, a snack, or I'm hungry for pizza? Was it a craving? Was it a hunger craving? Was it an emotional craving? Were you depressed at the time? I mean, I want to know why you ate what you ate. That's your diary. That's your homework for 1 week, is to write down everything. I don't care if it's something you drank, something you eat, a snack. If it contains any kind of calories, I want to know about it. Okay? So for 1 week, Monday through Sunday, you keep that food log. Activity diary to go with it. So that you did that counts as getting off your butt and moving, right? For 1 entire week. So you have your food log for that day, that Monday. This is everything I ate, everything that crossed my lips. And we can add up all those calories. Here's the activities that I did that day. I took the dog for a walk. I went shopping at the mall. Whatever counts as getting you off your butt and moving, right? For 1 full week. Once we have that information, once you have that information, because that information is more important to you than it is to pretty much anybody. Once you have that information is ammunition. Once you understand, well, this is where all my weight is coming from, this is where my extra pounds are coming from, This is why I am where I am. Then you can start deciding, well, perhaps I can cut back on these a little bit. Instead of having that double quarter pounder with cheese, how about a single cheeseburger? Instead of having a large fries, how about a small fries? Replacing one of your junk food meals with something a little healthier. I'm not talking you're all of a sudden going to turn into health food nuts. That's not going to happen. Let's be realistic. Right? People are going to eat what they like to eat. I still eat food from McDonald's. I still have a double quarter pounder with cheese. But now I understand, for me, that at the end of the day, the end of the week, the end of the month, the end of the year, it determines how many calories I put into my system versus how many calories I burn, whether or not I'm going to be at weight, gaining weight, losing weight. Right? I'm in maintenance mode. I know where I need to be. You need to get into maintenance mode, but first you got to get down to that BMI that's logical. You've got to take off the weight that's logical. And don't look at these diet plans and these fads, and everybody wants you to sign up for meal replacements and sign up for their South Beach diets and doctors, and Marie Osmond hawking that same 50 pounds that she lost 50 years ago. Right? They just want to sign you up for short-term things that are going to take money out of your credit card every month. Right? What you need is something long-term, something that's going to be slow over time. Fast weight loss is just not logical, and it's not smart. I'm happy if you can take off a pound a week. 1 pound. Even if you take off a pound every other week. If you're in a negative energy balance, even if it's just slightly a negative energy balance. I'm not talking drastic changes. I'm not talking suddenly starting eating spinach salad every day. We're talking about slow changes. I know you're going to keep eating the fried chicken and the meatloaf and all of the things that we like to eat anyway. But let's start talking about cutting back on the portion sizes a bit. All right, so you feel like having some pizza. Great, get a pizza. Don't eat the whole damn pizza. A couple slices. Right? Like I say, you feel like having fried chicken. Great, make some fried chicken. Get some KFC. But don't eat the whole bucket. You with me on this? You can still eat the foods you like to eat, even the ones that are saturated fat and high in cholesterol. Yeah, you can still do that. And the same vein, bring the portion sizes down to a logical point where maybe you can lose a pound a week, a pound every other week. If you lose 1 pound a week, that's 52 pounds in a year. Gang, think about that. Even if you're losing just 1 pound every other week, 2 pounds a month, that's 26 pounds in a year. For a 250 pound person, is it obese? For make off 26 pounds, that would have been the 10% that I needed. There it is right there. Slow weight loss. They show these stupid commercials, lose 10 pounds in a week, lose 30 pounds in 30 days. I mean, it's crazy. One, your body, it's not good for your body to lose weight that quickly. You have the tendency to lose muscle and bone at the same time if you're not doing it properly. Rapid weight loss is not good. Slow, steady, long-term weight loss that's permanent is what's needed. Too often what will happen is somebody who does some rapid weight loss and they do what we call yo-yo. So they'll go down, they'll go up, they'll go down, they'll go up, they'll lose 10, 20, gain 10, 20, lose 10, 20, and that does real damage long-term to your system. Your pancreas will be very unhappy with you if you do that a lot. It's unhappy with you now if you're carrying extra weight. If you're overweight or obese, your pancreas is not happy with you, I promise. You're putting the strain on your internal organs when you're carrying extra weight, not just because of the heaviness, but because of the amount you're putting on those systems to continue working with all that extra weight, with all the extra calories, with all the extra sugar that is going into your system. And the saturated fat and the high cholesterol foods are building up plaque on your artery walls. There was a thing the other day I posted on my, I think it was on Pushing Double Nickels page about a young lady who was barely 40 years old, just barely 40 years old, thin, very thin, right? I mean, not thin to the point of anorexia, but she was at weight. She was at a good weight. She suffered 3 heart attacks 3 days in a row. She had been getting warning symptoms from her body. Her body had been giving her the pains and the warning symptoms that she was having a myocardial infarction, a heart attack. But she was ignoring them. One, because she wasn't that old. She was only 40. She wasn't overweight. She didn't have all of the classic, things that people have that have a heart attack at 40. But she was having the symptoms related. That is because her main artery, the one we call the widowmaker, her main artery was 99% blocked with saturated fat, with arteriosclerosis, with plaque that builds up on the walls. 99% blocked, even though she wasn't overweight or obese. Her cholesterol, and that has to do with diet and genetics, it's a combination. But obviously, her genetics and her diet in combination had built up plaque on her artery walls to where it was 99% blocked. It's amazing she didn't die. Too often, a first heart attack is also the last heart attack. Right? So getting the weight off in the first place is going to take an awful lot of pressure off your internal organs. Your heart isn't going to have to work so hard. Your pancreas isn't going to start going on strike. Half my pancreas left. I've only got half a pancreas per my doctor. So me, as a type 2 diabetic and a formerly very obese person, I will always have that residual because I didn't take off the weight soon enough to make certain that my prediabetes didn't become full-blown diabetes. I was never diagnosed with prediabetes. Had I been diagnosed with prediabetes, that probably might have started me on my path to health a lot earlier. Because the sooner you start, the better. And I keep on saying it all the time. I don't care if you're 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 years old. You can start making changes for the better at any age, at any time. It's never too late. A gentleman on here the other day was telling me about his dad who's still smoking cigarettes and he's overweight and just got hit with diabetes, and his dad thinks it's too late. He's only 55. Come on. If it's done right, 50 is the new 30. Literally. We have the ability now to keep our physical form in good enough condition so that we can live to 100 easily without drooling on ourselves and wearing diapers. But it takes the effort in the first place. If you just care and you're apathetic about your health, and like I was, I understand. At 46, I was fat and happy. 250 pounds, smoking my cigarettes, eating whatever I wanted. I had no symptoms. I mean, you don't get a sore throat or a fever or a cough or anything. Getting overweight and becoming unhealthy and turning into a diabetic until you get those symptoms for the diabetes, you really don't have any, there's no pain involved. I mean, yeah, okay, the stress on your knees and your ankles and hips and lower back, that you can feel, but you don't really associate it at that time. You don't really put it together, it's all the extra weight I'm carrying is causing my knee pain, my ankle pain, the pronation of my knees and ankles. I mean, you don't really put that together in your mind. Until somebody like me may point it out. I mean, nobody ever pointed it out to me. Wish they had. I might not have the lower back issues as bad as I do. Anyhow, so simple matter of keeping your food diary, keeping your food log for a week, keeping your activity log for a week. I'm curious if anybody plans to do it this week. I'd be real curious to see if a week from now somebody's going to come back on here and go, well, I kept my food diary and activity log for a week, and here's what I came up with. What I do when I have my clients start this is I send them my form. I've got a form for this, and I send them my diary form, and they fill it out for each day, and then at the end of that week, we Skype, and we go over it in detail, blow by blow, and figure out, okay, well then, here's what we can do on a weekly basis, daily basis, to help getting you back into a negative energy balance, start taking off some of those pounds. It's fairly simple. Like I say, it's a numbers game. It really is just a numbers game. putting in the time and the effort and understanding that weight loss and losing weight is something that you need to do slowly and over time. The same way that you gained weight and got out of shape. It happened slowly and over time. You don't put on 50 pounds in a week or a couple months. Don't expect to take off 30, 40, 50 pounds in a couple weeks or a couple months. It takes time. It takes effort. But it's worth it in the long run. You want to be around to see your grandkids, your great-grandkids, whatever your goals are. You want to be around for it, you got to put in the effort. So, anyhow, I am going to probably finish off here because I got to go do my miles. My cardio is waiting, and then I never did get around to my weights, but it's getting a little late in the morning now, so I'm going to have to do them after I go do my cardio. But this morning, I said I'd discuss the numbers specifically for weight loss, and that's what I've done. Right? I've given you the ammunition you need right now to at least go start looking at why you may be gaining weight, why you may currently be heavy. Right? You need to have a good close look at what's going on in your system. And remember, keeping this food log or keeping this food diary, you're not really doing this for me as much as you're doing it for yourself. So don't cheat. Don't suddenly become a health food nut for that 1 week you're trying to keep this food log. And I've had it happen, right? And I've confronted people about it. I go, really? So you had a romaine salad for lunch on Tuesday with chicken. When was the last time you had a salad for lunch? I'll get in your face. Because if you're normally out having cheeseburgers and tacos and stuff for lunch, don't suddenly start eating healthy because you're keeping a food diary. That doesn't do you any good. That doesn't do me any good. That does absolutely no good whatsoever. Be brutally honest with me. And if you ordered Domino's pizza and you ate the whole damn thing, I need to know that. Right? Hiding this stuff from yourself is more what you'd be doing than hiding it from me. It's not going to affect my health. Right? My heart is going to remain strong. Your heart's the one I'm concerned about, and your weight. And your liver and your pancreas and all of your internal organs. Remember, when you're heavy, you've got multiple kinds of fat, and the most dangerous kind of fat, besides, other than subcutaneous, is the visceral fat. That's the fat that builds up around your organs. That's the fat that creates fatty liver disease. Right now, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is on the rise. For the second year in a row, liver transplants have spiked. And it's all because of the fact that we are not watching our diet. Fatty liver disease, when the liver becomes infected with visceral fat, it literally stops working properly. So the having extra pounds does a lot more damage than just putting you into prediabetes, just putting extra weight on your joints, then putting extra pressure on your hearts. Well, again, you start losing weight, your brain works better. For one thing, you've got more energy levels. For another thing, just 10%, you'd be amazed at the difference in your energy levels. You get to bring your blood sugars back down to a normal, healthier range when you start losing weight. You can get rid of that visceral fat, that nasty fat that accumulates around your internal organs and kills us faster. The benefits of taking off the weight long term are well worth the effort that you'll put in to at least get it started. And once you do start losing weight, once you do start taking off some pounds, you feel that much better about yourself. Once it begins, even the first 5-10 pounds, once it begins and you start getting that positive reinforcement, that positive feedback, when some of your clothes start getting loose again, when you maybe fit into some of those jeans you weren't able to fit into, a few years ago, the positive feelings come out. You start feeling better about yourself. And then that helps increase your need to want to do even more. So like I say, 10%. Shoot for 10% right off the bat. Whatever your weight is right now, if you need to lose weight, target 10%. And it's very simple. I'm going to finish you off with SMART goals, and then I'm heading out. I got to go do my mileage.
set your goals 10% and make them SMART goals, right? And by SMART, I mean specific. So, let's say let's say it's a 250-pound person like me, you want to lose 10%, right? Which is 25. Okay, so let's be specific. So specific, 25 pounds. Measurable. Can I measure whether or not I'm going to lose 25 pounds? Absolutely. Is it attainable? Can I do it? Well, that's going to be based on the time factor, which we're going to get to. So it can be attainable. Is it relevant? Losing 25 pounds, 10%, is going to help me get, hopefully, off the pre-diabetes list, get my energy levels back up, and begin me on a path to being more balanced and healthy. So it's relevant. And time bound. Now that's the key. Anytime you make a goal, it's got to be specific. It's got to be measurable. It's got to be attainable. It's got to be relevant. And very much it's got to be time bound. You need to put a time frame on it so that you say, all right, I'm starting working on this goal. Now, this is when I'm giving myself to complete this goal. It's got to be time bound. So for this particular specific goal is to take off 10% off a 250-pound person. So a 250-pound person, to lose 10% is 25 pounds. I'm happy if somebody loses 1 pound a week. Okay, so let's target 1 pound a week. Okay, 3,500 calories off 1 week. That's 1 pound, 3,500 calories gained or lost. So we're targeting losing 1 pound a week. We want to lose 25 pounds. That's 25 weeks. Let's make it 26 weeks, just to be safe. Give us that full 6-month window to take off that 25 pounds. So now we have a very SMART goal, which is attainable. It's specific. We're going to lose 25 pounds, right? It's measurable. We know if we're 15 pounds now, 6 months from now, if we get on the scale and we're 225 pounds, then yeah, we measured, we lost 25 pounds. Is it attainable? Yes, we can take off 25 pounds. Absolutely, we can lose 25 pounds. Is it relevant? Well, trying to become less overweight, less obese, more healthy, get off pre-diabetes list, I would say it is very relevant for what we're trying to accomplish. And is it time bound? We've given ourselves 26 weeks to lose 25 pounds at about a pound a week. We already have our food diary and our activity diary so that we know where we're starting at. And we can work on our portion sizes and find a way to take 3,500 calories off each week. Now, it may take doing more than just looking at 3,500. You may look at ways to replace junk food meals with healthier meals. And that'll happen over time. As you begin to take off the pounds, over time, your craving for the high saturated fatty foods does diminish, right? It doesn't go away entirely, but it does diminish. There's a little bump at about 2 to 4 weeks when you're in 5, 10 pounds. The lipids, the leptin that sits in your fat cells that gives you the feeling of being full. As you start taking off that fat, you burn off the leptin and your hunger will spike in your mind. You will get these cravings for high saturated, high fatty foods. It's just a little bump. Right as you're starting 5, 10 pounds off, right as you're starting to get that subcutaneous fat off, where all the leptin is stored, you can get hit with those cravings. If you can get past those, and you can, once you get past that, you're on your way. So, weight loss made simple, made long term. No diet plans, no surgeries, no short-term solutions, no buying meal replacements, nothing that you can't do with a simple pencil and a piece of paper and a bit of motivation to be a little healthier. Okay, that's simple. So, any questions on this? Otherwise, I have got to finish my cardio. I've got to go out and do my 4 miles so that I can walk the walk. It does me no good to talk the talk if I don't walk the walk. You certainly wouldn't trust to hire me as a personal trainer or a health coach
if I was still overweight or as I used to be obese. And certainly not if I still had a cigarette hanging out of my mouth. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope you guys wrote some of this down, at least the food stuff. Hey, Ziggy, what's going on, Mr. Stardust? Sure, Dan, I always love advice. What do you got? Hit me, Dan, hit me. Talk too loud, don't talk loud enough. Cover the ugly mug. Whatever you want, Dan. Tell me. Anyhow, you guys, if you haven't fanned me up yet, go ahead and do so. I plan on being on here pretty much daily. Help out with health issues, health questions. If anybody has any thing that they want to reach out to me on my social media links when I'm not online, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, I've got to get my butt in gear and go get some exercise done myself. It's one thing that I love to do is to help other people. But for me to be able to do that, I got to keep myself in balance at the same time. Anyhow, I'm going to leave you with one more thing. Every single night, 90,000 people will go to sleep and not wake up the next morning. Tonight, 90,000 people will go to bed and not wake up tomorrow morning. Standard. So, what does that mean to you? That means if your eyes open up first thing in the morning, your eyes open, you're already ahead of 90,000 people. You're already on the positive side. You're already golden because you have that opportunity when the moment your eyes open to make that day whatever you want from that point on. From that point on, I would hope that every one of you would think that the glass is half full. Right? Remember, it's gravy. You woke up. Your eyes opened up. You're alive. From that moment, everything that goes on beyond that is pretty much gravy. You're already on the positive side at that point. That's the way I like to look at it. So each and every day is an opportunity to get better. A little better. Right? Baby steps. A little better. A little bit of weight off. A little bit more balanced. Being a healthy individual isn't just about your weight, isn't just about your BMI, isn't just about your physical form. Being a balanced, healthy individual is physically, mentally, intellectually, and spiritually. It's the entire gamut. As a health coach, my goal is to bring people back into balance. If you're overweight, you're out of balance. If you're emotionally distraught, you're out of balance. Whatever the issue is you're dealing with, if it's not affecting you, it's not affecting you in a positive manner, is what I mean to say. Whatever is going on in your life, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, mental, doesn't matter. If you're out of balance, it's affecting you in a negative way. That simply means that you need to come back into balance. That's all. Being healthy is being balanced all the way around. So, everybody, get up, get moving, get your food diaries going. If anybody wants to follow up with this food diary thing with me next week, after 1 week, I'd love to hear from you. Ziggy Stardust, I miss Bowie. I really do. Bowie was a good man. Anyhow, you guys, have yourselves an awesome day. I appreciate you taking the time to spend it with me now. Dan, if you do have some feedback on broadcasting, please feel free to ping me a message or reach out to me. I'm always looking for self. Lord knows I'm not perfect. But then again, I wouldn't try to be perfect. It's an imperfect world in the first place. Just remember, you're perfect exactly as you are. The driver that's in that vehicle, that's you. You are perfect as you are right now. There's always ways to be better. There's always things that you can make yourself better. But just remember, as an individual, as a person, as the driver of that vehicle, the person inside, you're fine. You're absolutely fine. You can make things better. You can make yourself better. That's awesome, right? But don't for 1 minute think that you have to be perfect. And don't try to be perfect for everybody. Just to be happy within yourself. Remember, you're the only person you really have to live with. And that person you look in the mirror every single day. That's the only person that you ever really have to get along with. So the happier you are with that person, the happier you'll be overall.
Right. So anyhow, fan me up. I will be back on here tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, and harping about getting off your butt and moving. So I will do that. Hopefully for the rest of the day today, you guys get up, you get moving, stay positive, and start keeping your food diary if you're one of those folks who wants to join me this next week as we talk about. Great day, you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.